What's up, Dead Nation? Here for the draft talk. Gonna wait on Eric G and Dean. I don't know why they're not here yet, but anyways, yeah, pretty big news just dropped, coincidentally. But what we're gonna do tonight is talk to Eric G of NBADraft.net, and he's going to go through a list of guys that might be available at 52 for us. And that's what we do here is we do everything Warriors related that we can and try to feed you with as much information as possible. So I'm going to go ahead in advance of them meaning Dean Chambers, my co-host, and Eric G himself hopping on board. Oh, we switched it to Ulrich. There's actually a pronunciation guide. Let me look that up. There's a pronunciation guide. I'll get to your comments in a sec. Good to have you, Nikki, as per usual. I'll get to you in a sec. Kumarian. There's a pronunciation guide for this, but then we got to talk about Mikal Bridges. We might as well talk about Mikal Bridges until Eric shows up. Where's my pronunciation guide? There it is. Let's copy that link. I am flush with a million tabs on this because I just did a video where I use these tabs. That's on the way. Chomche, or however you pronounce it. Let's see. Ulrich Chomche. Ulrich Chomche. Eric G in the house.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you, Eric.
Busy last hour.
Yeah, isn't it? I'm kind of glad that it was not Warriors related. Like, I'm relieved. Like, we can just kind of sit back and observe and have fun with it. Watch all the tweets come in. Yeah, why don't you tell Kumarian here? Oh, before that, I should say, hope you're feeling better because you've been under the weather.
Yeah, still a little bit, but it's fine.
All right. So, any quick reactions to Mikal Bridges?
Well, they obviously like Villanova guys, and we'll see how the Knicks re-sign OG and Hartenstein, and
I guess
they'll keep Randall, and if they'll keep
or Hartenstein. Now, I saw a few tweets out there of guys, whether it's Bobby Marks and you heard of that guy Yossi Goslin, I think his name is, cap expert. So they're thinking Hartenstein is probably gone.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, right? There could be some other trades that might happen.
True.
One of the things that I heard in terms that's cap related for this draft is that many of the teams that are over the cap, that are second apron teams like the Phoenix Suns, may trade down to get second round picks. So let's say, for example, let's say they trade with the Utah Jazz at 22 for 29, and then also get the 32nd pick. Two reasons for it. A, 29th pick is worth a little bit less money than 22nd. Second reason is the TJD reason, where you can get 4 years non-guaranteed contracts for below minimum, and it's a really good deal for the teams.
Yep.
So, and that is draft-related stuff, and it doesn't apply for the Warriors this year because they don't have a first-rounder, so they can't really trade down per se at 52. But it does maybe in the future. That's something that they'll be considering.
Yeah, let's bring in Dean Chambers real quick to make it more fun. What's up, Dean?
How's it going, Eric?
Hi, Dean.
Hello.
Dean, can you figure out your headphone situation? I'm hearing a feedback. So let's mute him for just a little bit. Let me know when you're ready. All right. So with that sounds better. Is there a chance? Well, let's just right into it. Is there a chance that the Warriors actually might trade up a little bit in terms of? I'm seeing some of the names that you've mentioned last time with us, whether it's you mentioned Jaylen Wells, Ighodaro seems to be gaining traction late. It's like they're all moving up in the second round still, so you can still get them on the Trace Jackson Davis contract type of deal. But what do you think of the Warriors' 52nd position?
Based on the information that I got over the weekend at Section 7, which is a big, huge high school tournament where you interact with a lot of college coaches, I would say that Jaylen Wells will not be available at 52.
Okay.
I think he goes top 30 in the late 20s to late 30s. So he's 25 to 40 range.
Okay. All right. So what are you hearing of late?
For the Warriors?
Yeah.
Not much other than likely that we talked about a little bit last time about Klay's situation.
Right. Yeah, that basically Orlando might not be as interested in Klay, and so you kind of speculated maybe given that, I guess, little piece of intel is like take it one step further. Who would they be interested in? We're guessing, or you're guessing, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Yeah, KCP is what I heard is who Orlando wants more than Klay.
Okay.
Because mainly age difference. They want somebody that's a little bit younger than Klay at this point. But I also heard that Klay is very unhappy with his current Warriors situation, and that it's likely, and I think other podcasts have mentioned it too, of his unhappiness with the Warriors in itself, and that it's likely finished.
Right.
That he'll be likely moving on to something different.
Right. And the only thing I have to say about that is I hope he figures out a way to get over himself in a way, because that's what makes him great and what makes all of the elite players and awesome players in the NBA great. Everybody in the NBA, really. It's along the same lines as Paul George, even going on his podcast, kind of saying it sounded like he was looking for a better fit somewhere. But like for the Clippers not to extend him at like Kawhi's level. And so it's kind of like, these are competitive guys, and their ego got them to be this good. And so like, they really need that part to be checked off on all the things that it takes to be an NBA player, and a great one. So it doesn't surprise me, but I just hope that I think Steve Kerr better be there, because he's like maybe Steve Kerr will save the situation and somehow convince Klay to stay, that kind of thing.
Save the Trinity.
We'll probably never know the details behind closed doors, but I feel like Steve has that personality to kind of temper that competitive desire or the ego part of it, and bring it back down to earth, so to speak. So that's.
I think with his injuries too, Klay's injuries, right? Like that must have been so difficult to really believe that you could come back. That like any kind of change in a role might have felt more dangerous to your career or something. Like the 6-man thing. I wonder if that affected him a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Look, it's June 25th. We got another week until free agency. So the next 7 days, you never know. Maybe just he might change his mind kind of in terms of like that track of thinking. So we'll see.
We'll have to see what the Warriors do with the CP3 contract and everything like that. I'm glad to see Loon is staying though. Looks like, or at least he got his contract guaranteed, right?
Yeah, that I think that was important in terms of, but keeping the salary slot available,
Yep.
especially when things are in flux like they are.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have any thoughts, Eric G? For example, if I'm Klay, there's other places talking about this, such as I'll say their name because I really love what they do. John Dickinson over at KMBR, Tom Tolbert to a degree. I love their discourse the most. And so JD, John Dickinson, talking about how Klay just kind of feels disrespected. So any thoughts on that, Eric? In terms of like Dean, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but like with the Paul George situation, one thing that I kind of not just hearing from JD on KMBR, but elsewhere, whether it's social media, whether it's just little rumblings, whether it's like people sort of close to Klay's camp, it's like, does he feel like everyone's talking about Paul George, and yet, like, you look at some of the offensive numbers, not defense, but like Klay, it's almost like Klay isn't a priority right now for the Warriors because there's like, you got to see what happens with Paul George, let's say. And does Klay kind of feel like he's being forgotten in a way?
Well, I don't want to speak for Klay because I don't know him at all. But if you just look at it as an outsider, Paul George is the same age as him. He had a devastating injury just like he did.
Right.
I'm not saying they're the same level of player, but the sweat equity that Klay has had with the Warriors obviously is a lot more than what Paul George has ever done for the Warriors. So for all those reasons, I could see from his perspective feeling disrespected by the organization making Paul George a priority and not even like considering his demands that are probably a lot lesser in terms of contract and negotiations and stuff. And we can go even with the Jimmy Butler thing, like the rumors of Jimmy Butler feeling disrespected by the Miami Heat because they won't offer him a full max contract. That's kind of the same lines with Paul George and Jimmy Butler. Now, Klay might not be asking for that amount of money, but the money that he is asking, obviously the Warriors aren't really forthcoming to provide him with that amount.
Oh, someone had to do the 0 for 10 thing at Sacramento. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, Paul George has had some bad playoff games as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the problem when it comes down to one play-in game. Although actually I found this little stat out for the last 2 years, that game 6 in LA, Klay was 3 for 19. So he's 3 for 29.
Oh, yeah, everybody kept chanting Game 6 Klay at him, which is a terrible idea as a fan. You don't
no, but I
say be Game 6 Klay,
Now you have to look at the whole series, and unfortunately, the series against Sacramento is on April 16th or whatever it was one game series. But
no one really played well that game. It wasn't just Klay. The whole team played kind of bad.
I actually wanted to do an analysis of that game just because of the issues surrounding Klay, just to see if it was really that bad. And actually, I mentioned this to you guys last live stream. I think it was, or maybe the one before that, is that like Klay's camp would tell you that sure, he may go 0 for 10, or he may be throwing up some shots, like during the regular season, like he may be hunting some shots, but he's not getting the ball in the usual positions that he expects. And I've never really delved into that. So I wanted to I recorded the Sacramento game that we lost, the play-in game. And while doing so, I could just sort of hear it in the background, and then I check it out for a few minutes. But like, I really want to do an analysis at some other time, so I recorded it. And like, I just based on sort of half watching it, really, it was not only Klay, but the top three reasons were Klay, Steph's turnovers, and Draymond's turnovers, like literally. Like, but this isn't with really looking at the game film a whole ton. It's just that the Warriors actually played pretty well. They're like only down by like 11 points pretty late in the game before Sacramento went on their final run to make it 20. And, you know, it was one of those turnovers. Draymond stepped on the sideline, and I think Steph got picked. And then it was over. But like, the Warriors had played pretty well. There was a stretch when Kuminga scored 6 straight points and Mike Brown had to call timeout. And so it was interesting to me that it was actually the older guys. It feels like I haven't really done all of the homework yet. But yeah. So anyways, let's get it back to the draft stuff. Hey, Dean, let's get you back soon, because I want to do a back screen and show the NBA draft.net mock.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me put you in the green room and then put the this. There we go. There's Eric. There's the pronunciation guide. Here's NBA draft.net. So guys in the comments, if you guys want to talk about Klay, let's save that until we got like 12 more minutes or 10 more minutes with Eric G to talk about the draft tomorrow, and then the second round on Thursday. I see that you've got Ulrich.
It's probably going to be flipped a little bit. I think we've changed it already, or we're going to.
Wow.
It's going to be Oso Ighodaro. That's going to be at the Warriors.
Oh, right. This is because you've still got Washington here.
Well, it's because the way that our backlog is set up, we have forfeited picks so there's 60 picks in our mock, but one of them says forfeited, so it's really going to be 52. If you scroll up a little bit, you'll see like okay, 49 is forfeited. So
gotcha.
Yeah, it should be updated somewhat. What we have heard is there's going to be more international guys than we anticipated that are going to get drafted in the second round, we think. More stash picks.
Okay.
And I mean,
more stash picks. Nice. Keep going. Yeah.
If you want to go over outside of the Warriors, there's a chance that there's been talk about, like I said, about the salary cap implications. One thing that could happen is Suns trade down at 22, and as I mentioned, might be 29 and 32nd that they get with Utah. And that would be if Utah was wanted somebody specific to trade up.
Gotcha.
There's a chance that Brooklyn will move into the first round. We know that, and there's a chance that Boston will move out of the 30th pick. That's some of the chatter that we've heard.
Okay.
Outside of that, some things to note, if you really like Kevin McCuller, for example, he is not ready to play as of right now. He probably will not play to start the season. So that one's almost a redshirt year for that particular player. That's why we do not think that the Warriors would select him. He's the Kansas player.
Gotcha. And let me check the comments real quick. If anybody has any specific draft comments, now's the time to ask. Okay, so you think that actually it will end up, you guys will have Ighodaro here at 53.
Correct.
I saw Ighodaro get on somebody else's mock, obviously, and everything varies. But why do you think Ighodaro doesn't get picked until the Warriors?
why he won't get picked till the Warriors or why he's in that range. As we spoke about earlier, he's a little bit on the thin side for a big. He's athletic, as we mentioned last time. He's a little bit older player, and that's another reason why he gets a little bit lower in terms of why he's not going to be drafted as high. And then in the second round, it's a lot about fit on teams. So they're going to not always draft maybe the top talent, but the one, like if they have players in tiers, I think you've heard very frequently. So they'll put guys at like 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier, 4 tier. Let's say he's a 4-tier player. Then they're going to look into fit a little bit more. How he fits with the Warriors. As we discussed previously, I told you I think Ighodaro is a fit. Jalen Bridges is a potential fit. Pelle Larson's a potential fit.
Gotcha. Yeah, we talked about those in the last live.
Ulrich is not a fit for the Warriors because he's too much of a project right now.
Exactly.
So if they're asking you why it won't be Ulrich, it's because he has very high upside. And that height is wrong on the site. It should not be 6'7". I don't know why they said he's like 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah. I actually like the projects. I just have.
Yes. Well, everybody likes the high upside projects, except when Warriors fans say, "Hey, how are we going to help Steph now?" He's not going to be a good player that's going to help Steph in the next 2-3 years. He's a long-term guy.
Okay. We already got 2 Branden Carlson mentions. Just go ahead and mention him as well, please, because I know we covered it last time because Dean Chambers specifically asked about him.
Yeah, I'm curious how all the Warriors fans like Branden Carlson.
No idea. I have no idea.
The reason Branden Carlson is not in most people's mock top 60 is because he's almost 25 years old. He's 6'11", 7 foot, but he also didn't make the NBA Combine. He was not invited to the Combine, which was the top 65, 75 players. He was invited only to the G League Combine and did not get an invitation up. So the likelihood of those guys getting drafted that don't get invited to the Combine is possible, but not likely.
Gotcha. All right. What percentage? Here's the one that's out there. What percentage do you give the chances of the Warriors trading up to draft Edey?
Not very good.
Yeah.
Edey's projected to go 15 to 25, so you'd have to move into the first round.
Yep.
Would you, in a historically bad draft, you still would have to give up a future first-round pick to move up. So is it worth moving up in a future first for a historically bad draft without knowing if the Warriors' record would be better or worse than where that pick is slotted? Probably not.
Yeah. Gotcha. Thanks for answering that. Just checking through the comments. Okay. So then we've got the most likely names. What would be like your top 5 most likely? One probably is Ighodaro at 52, right?
Yeah, and Jalen Bridges is high up there. Pelle Larson is high up there. Those would be 3.
Pelle. And who would be 4th, would you say, if you had to rank them?
For the Warriors, maybe Adem Bona.
Right.
I think Cam Spencer would have some interest, but I don't think he's going to last to the 50s. I think they would have interest in Cam Spencer from UConn. I think he goes mid-40s.
And Pat Spencer's brother.
Yes, correct.
All right. Anything else to look out for as we're winding down? 5 more minutes with you. Real quick, Keshad Johnson. Yeah, that's a name that I've seen as well. Just got asked in there.
So I was talking to the U of A coaches this weekend, and they were more confident that Larson gets drafted than Johnson.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's not going to. I'm just saying they were more confident about it.
Okay.
Keshad Johnson reminds me a little bit of JTA as a player. Now, Aran, who does the mock and stuff, disagrees with that comparison. I think there's a little bit of JTA in him. He's an undersized 4. He hasn't proved to be the defender that JTA is yet, and hasn't developed his shot quite as much. But if you remember JTA when he was in college, he hadn't developed those things a bit either.
Okay. All right, just to reinforce our knowledge of Ighodaro, not really a shooter, right?
No.
Can't really shoot. He's more of a 5.
He could pass a little bit though.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith Smith actually was gushing about Ighodaro's passing ability. Like, we haven't seen a center pass like him. It's like 1 every 7 drafts that you'd see a guy that could pass like that. What's your feeling on that aspect? Are you as
I don't know about once every 7 draft, but he is a very good passer, and that would work well in the Warriors offense. I think what I'm concerned about is he going to be able to defend the bigs right away? I'm not saying he's not eventually going to, but we're kind of going to need that. He's athletic and he can pass. And then again, the other thing is he too much of a duplicate for TJD? Yes, he's a little bit taller than TJD, but TJD is a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
They both are pretty athletic.
Yep. Yeah.
TJD for us last year was projected. Remember, I was considering him at the Warriors at the Pods pick last year at this time.
Right.
So we were really into TJD then. We said it was a little high and that maybe they could trade down and get TJD. As I recall, that's what was on the pod. Trade down and get TJD. But, I mean, obviously they did pretty well, both with Pods and TJD. Yeah, and to answer that question is, we already have TJD, yes, but the question is Looney going to be on the team?
Gotcha.
Before the season starts.
So if they do draft Ighodaro, would you think that they're going to move Looney in a trade?
Not necessarily, but it could be a possibility, a definite possibility.
Gotcha. All right, folks. Well, we've got to let Eric go.
Is there any other questions?
I think let's see. Okay, I think we covered it all. I did scroll up earlier. If anybody has any other questions for Eric before he goes, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll be sure to ask him after and get you the answer. But any last words? You're going to be really busy next couple days.
Yeah. Remember that the second round starts at 1 p.m. on Thursday.
Gotcha.
It's a different start time than the first round tomorrow.
Okay.
So for Warriors fans that are probably, I would guess 3 or 4-ish is when the Warriors pick will happen, unless they trade up. There could be, I could see like the 31st pick that there'd be trades between the first day and the second day to move up for specific guys. not necessarily the Warriors doing it, but that, for example, I could see totally the Toronto trading the 31st pick, trading down for a team that really wants somebody that they thought was going to be in the first round and slipped.
Yeah. So I heard it's forgot where I read it, but 4 minutes on the clock for each team in the second round.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So that would be where the second pick. So we're looking at 22 picks times 4 minutes. So 88 minutes after 4 o'clock or
1 p.m.
4 o'clock, 4 p.m. No, 1 p.m. for us. 4 o'clock Eastern minus 3 hours. Yeah. So 88 minutes after 1 p.m. is maybe when the Warriors are going to pick. But we'll be on live at 1 o'clock. All right, Eric. Well, get some rest and, man, enjoy it. Next couple days, busy for you as you constantly update this draft board on NBADraft.net. That's where you can
I could say a few of my favorite players in this draft, and it doesn't mean that they're the best players as I go.
Yeah.
I like Pacome Edey.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I like Jaylen Wells a lot. If either of them ended up in the second round and the Warriors could draft them, I would love it, but I don't see that happening. Let's look at some of the other guys. There's another guy that supposedly is a hit, like a very swing for the fences type of player, and that's Ryan Dunn. I know that the Phoenix Suns do like him. That's why other sites have him mocked high. Defensively, he's extraordinary. Offensively, he's terrible. So it depends how you see how he can be, how he can develop offensively in the future. And also, I keep forgetting to mention him, but Jonathan Mogbo of USF.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you about him.
He has a chance to be a first-round pick.
Cool.
There is an outside shot where he'll be a first-round pick. And that's one of the guys that if he does end up in the second round, I would envision if Dadier, Mogbo, or Wells, a team really likes him, they probably would try to go between 33 and 31 and trade up to get one of those guys if they fall in the second round. That would be my guess. Like I said, we know ranges for guys. We don't always know the exact pick. We do our best we can. Mogbo has a 7'2" wingspan, so he kind of and is defensively kind of a Draymond Light-ish type of player. He can play a power forward. He's a late bloomer. He grew at late stage of his career. The issue with him is he hasn't proven that he can make. He didn't shoot, I think, a three-pointer this year for University of San Francisco at the college line. But he was very efficient and had good handles and can pass it. Can he develop that shot is what's going to make or break him in the NBA. Gotcha. But a team that believes that he can, everything else he does really, really well.
Great. All right. Thanks for your time, Eric.
All right.
Appreciate you. And we'll talk to you after the draft at some point.
Yep.
All right. Get well soon, buddy. Appreciate you. Okay. Dean, feel free to hop back in the green room. Okay, let's catch up on some comments and whatever you want to talk about. I guess we can really open it up. And I gotta do a little write-up, I guess, on the website to just mention everybody that Eric G mentioned. And by the way, I'm keeping notes. It's in the description. So if you refresh and just look at the description, you'll see timestamps and various notes. Dean Chambers in the house.
What's up, Rich?
Yeah, so everybody, tomorrow the draft starts at 5 o'clock. So we'll be here. We'll go live. We'll do a watch party, basically. And just enjoy it. We're going to have a few special guests. I already got hopefully more than one, but we'll see. At least we got one guy, and that is Reed OC, which is Wiggins' trainer, hoping to get Klay's trainer. The crazy thing is you never know. They might not be Warriors by October, but knock on wood, who knows? Me and Dean always want to run it back. It's probably not a realistic desire. And I know for me, half of it is like competitive. Like when I used to lose pickup games and I thought we had a pretty good team, I'd want to run it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check ball. Let's run it back. So that's just kind of the competitor in us and the loyalty.
Absolutely. I'm amazed that so many people are talking about Branden Carlson now. Where did that come from?
What did you do, dude? No.
I don't know.
Where did it come from? It came from you. No.
I know, but he's just a 7-footer who played in a Utes jersey, and I went, "Oh, cool." I just wanted to know, but I didn't think anyone else would pick. I didn't think anybody else would really be talking about that. It's crazy. Yeah, thank you for Eric G for coming on. By the way, always great to hear his.
Eric G. Yeah, the thing
is, draft knowledge.
He's going to be super busy tomorrow and Thursday, just updating the site and doing all of that stuff. So that's his job. So
absolutely, yep, biggest day of the year for him.
Can't join us on Wednesday or Thursday because of that, but that's okay. On Thursday, I'm really excited because I got Doc Martin back. And by the way, it's going to be our 4th annual watch party for the draft.
Hey,
it's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And so Doc Martin, he was in the green room. We have a guy that was actually in a draft war room, not green room. And he was there when Portland selected Greg Oden. Okay. Yeah. So he has that experience. And I can't wait to ask him about the second round because he'll be here when the Warriors pick. He'll be on right before and when they pick. And, it's just going to be like, he's probably going to go, oh, they have it so much better than we did back then. It's like 2 minutes on the clock back then. And I've heard some crazy stories out there on my timelines, or on various podcasts. I would recommend Zach Lowe podcast was pretty darn good. Anything with Keith Smith.
Yep.
And so I heard that the second round, it used to be so crazy that I think maybe even Mike Dunleavy said it on the podium yesterday that they wouldn't even know who's picking. It would be so crazy. They're, just all over the place on the phone and this and that. And it would just be nuts.
Yeah.
So now it's a little bit more of a breathing room.
Well, you could still trade players in the second round. I mean, you could still, on that day, you could still trade players, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure they're giving teams more time to make those trades, which I bet is what was going down a lot in the second round. One of the reasons it was so crazy in the first place for the front office. I mean, I don't know. It's just a guess, but I would imagine,
Yep.
By the way, I like how every time you mention that he was picking Oden, you kind of sound like Jerry West when you say that. You say he was in the draft room picking Greg Oden, okay? And I love how West always would say, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Just you get what I mean? I love that. Yeah, man. I think it's going to be a crazy, crazy day tomorrow across the league, trade wise.
Yeah,
like that. I think it will be.
That's what makes the NBA so awesome.
We're already back into one of the peaks of the season.
Hey, Bruce, have your soccer top NBA trades, baby. Mikal Bridges to the Nets. I mean, come on. That can't be like a transfer out there.
It's NFL free agency day, so It's NBA free agent. Ah! Yeah.
Nah, I can't.
It's amazing.
No, I mean, I'm sure football has its merits that I'm not aware of, but
soccer too,
NBA, baby.
NBA all the way.
I meant soccer when I said football.
Oh yeah.
I didn't mean NFL. I would never actually. Yeah, I want to respect the original football on that.
Huh?
Football. Well, I mean
yeah.
That's the translation.
They're
right?
all called football. Actually, soccer came from association football. Soccer.
Get out! Look at Dean Chambers. I literally had no idea where soccer ever came from.
So it's from Cambridge University in England. It's a British word. So if you ever get someone making fun of you, say you made that.
I thought you said this. It's from Chambers, and I was like, oh, of course. No, it's from Cambridge. Okay,
Cambridge University, yeah.
Which is in the UK.
Yeah.
So the UK made up an alternative word for.
They had rugby football, association football, and you had to distinguish what type of football, and that's where American football came from too. They're all called
rugby. Gotcha.
No, well, rugby came from. Well, it came from an ancient game of kicking a ball, or
which you can pick
more
up.
Violent stuff than that, like criminals. Nah, never mind. But yeah. Anyway, basketball is way better than all that stuff.
Thank you, James Naismith.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, I have a new video coming out. I just spent all day editing. Man, editing is a pain, dude. But yeah, it has it's about Paul George and Klay, and it doesn't really get into my opinion on stuff, mainly because I don't know. Maybe we should talk about that though. But good to have everybody. Before we jump into the rabbit hole labeled Klay and Paul George, which can overlap to a degree. Good to have everybody. Like, short notice. Honestly, I wasn't sure if Eric G could hop on the live today because he wasn't feeling well, and so it was kind of up in the air. And he was supposed to go to work. I guess he has a day job. I've never figured out what he does other than the NBA draft stuff. But he was supposed to go to work, but he couldn't, and so he was available later than usual, which is great because one thing is I know you and I are going to be here tomorrow. And I just know after that, I'm going to be exhausted. And then we have the day after that for the second round. So 2 long live streams in a row.
Yeah, can't wait. It'll be fun.
So, yeah, well, the one thing that I've been really thinking about, but trying to stay away from the rabbit hole of it all is, and I've saved these tabs up because I just did a video on this, but we can talk live stream style about this, is that would you do a deal where Paul George says, let's say Paul George says, I want to go behind closed doors. I want to go to the Warriors because I like the way they play. And by the way, CJ McCollum, did you see the CJ McCollum video, Dean?
No.
Oh, let's run this. I can't really play it, but I'll play the audio and I'll show you the thing in the background. First of all, CJ McCollum, where are you? There he is. And let me just make sure I still have the audio. You guys got to hear this, guys. So he goes on ESPN, right? And let me start. Ready for this? I'm going to hit play on the other screen and you'll hear the audio. Here we go.
He has to decide what matters most to him. Does he want to be in LA? He's from there. I know the family dynamics of being closer to home, what that means. Does he want to continue to play alongside Kawhi and bet on health? Obviously, James probably coming back as well. Does he want to explore living on the East Coast? You know, been in New York a little while. It's nice here. It's nice outside of New York and some of the surrounding cities. Does he want to explore that? Does he want to explore seeing what happens with Klay, whether he leaves or stays? So I think he has to kind of figure out what his priorities are and who he wants to kind of play alongside as he gets closer to the latter part of his career.
I ask you something? If it's winning, if it's about winning, it would be where? If Paul George wakes up today and goes, I'm making this decision, not lifestyle, not money, I just want to win next year. I want to win a ring.
That's Austin Rivers.
To the Bay.
Oh, really? I was going to say Philadelphia.
Interesting. I was going to say Philadelphia too. That's really fascinating because I do think when you.
But he's like, I'm in the West, so no, that's not going to.
First of all,
the West is so hard.
The West is hard, but could you imagine him, Steph, Dre together?
You like that better than Maxey, him, and Joel?
Well, the health. We talk about health. We talk about the importance of availability.
Correct, because you're
leaving. Him and Joel are going to be able to play in the playoffs. That's completely different. But we're looking at history, which has Joel has played, but he's been injured in the playoffs, which has hampered the team and put a lot on Maxey. It's put a lot on the rest of the guys to have to play up a role or two. Which is we went through the same thing in New Orleans. If your best player gets hurt or close to your best player, everybody has to play up a role, which is sustainable for short periods of time, but not for long periods of time throughout the playoffs.
And
that's the end of the clip. So interesting. I wonder if that's gone viral on Warriors Twitter. If not, it will pretty soon. But so Dean, if Paul George were to, obviously behind closed doors, tell the Clippers and go, look, I don't think me and Harden and Kawhi is best for me here. I want to go to the Warriors. Get me to the Warriors. Well, I would think the Clippers, obviously they would want to get something in return rather than Paul George going, oh, all right, fine, I'm leaving as a free agent, right? But you would think that they would really kick and scream for Jonathan Kuminga, obviously. So would you do a deal with Kuminga included if you were to get Paul George? No, Klay Thompson already did the math here. With Paul George signed at his salary in an opt-in and trade for this salary match over here, there's only $13 million left under the second apron for Klay. So Klay wouldn't be on the team. Tough one, huh?
So now you're asked, but here's the thing. Now you're saying trading JK, GP2, and Klay, basically.
Or Looney. Looney fits this slot right here.
Right.
Or you can add up Moody and, Pajemski or, something like that. But, I mean, I just don't know that the Clippers – look, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Yesterday, Dunleavy was on the podium, and he said that right here. It's on our channel. Trades are hard to make. They're just hard to make because – everything needs to be fair because all the GMs are pretty good. And we've actually said that before on this live stream. Which
is one of the points of that article I wrote a while back. Stop trying to screw over the other team. Just make a fair win-win trade. They're not stupid anymore.
So when I look at the win-win trade, it's got to be JK in there. By the way, the Clippers are interested in CP, but they were interested in him if the Warriors waived them. And so both the Lakers and Clippers, Mark Stein mentioned that. But I mean, the Clippers would find value in getting CP, but...
And obviously that helps them get way under the second apron too, if they decide to waive him.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
Giving up Klay, though...
It's so tough.
It's tough, just because
PG's 34,
and it feels like that would be a great move if we could keep Klay because of the spacing. Having Steph, Klay, Wiggs, Wiggins, Paul George, Draymond. I don't know. I also don't really want to give up Kuminga for anything other than
Giannis.
guy I really think is going to be a star because he offers. I mean, watching Jason Tatum in the playoffs go to the hoop, it's like, oh my god, Kuminga would be cutting through this defense. Like Tatum's great; he does a lot of great things, but that's the one thing that we kept talking about was the ability to finish around the rim. And Kuminga, for a team full of shooters, having someone like that is so important. But if it's a true star level player, I guess maybe I can see that. But without Klay committing, here's the other thing. That's a max contract for 4 years, I would imagine, too, right?
All right. Paul George would expect to...
He wants the full max.
Get the full max, exactly.
For 4 years. And salary cap going up, that's less and less, per year percentage of the cap and everything. But if we're keeping Moody, he's probably going to be signed to a larger contract. And
here's something for you though. Like,
yeah, what
if you're Mike Dunleavy and you go, okay, we'll do it, but for 2 years we're trading Paul George summer of 2026. For something.
Yeah.
Rental, so to speak.
At 36 years old, making a max contract.
Don't know that. Yeah. What would you get back?
Yeah.
Return at that point. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially if it forces Klay out, I might say I'm not really.
Yeah, maybe the whole key is to figure out if Klay is, and just go ahead and, man, a lot of things are going to happen in a span of like 24, 48 hours. Like, boy, there's a lot of moving parts potentially. It'd be funny if Klay just came back at 24, like the original at the beginning of the season. I could see that happening. And then I think behind closed doors, they'd be like, you could have just done that in the beginning, and then maybe.
No, he needs more years. I'm fine with Klay demanding more years. Yeah, he needs
more years, right? Yeah.
Than 2. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So CP3, right? That's Friday. CP3's contract date is Friday, unless they push it back, which they do have the ability to do.
Yeah.
What did you think about that trade that I sent you? I don't know if you remember what it was. It was a marketing one because I really am intrigued by that fit.
Yeah, the marketing, anything with marketing, because he's only making $18 million. Although right after that, he'll get a max salary after that. Let me find that. Let's go up here. Switch this to Utah. There it is. 18 million. Yeah, go ahead and why don't you let the audience know your trade scenario for marketing.
So I am a Jazz fan and a Warriors fan. So I like all right, Rich. See you in a minute. I like imagining my favorite players at least being on one of my 2 main teams, 1 or 2 out of 3 alongside the Lakers. Boo, yeah, I know. But I was looking at it, and the proposal that I would make is CP3, Kuminga, and Moody for MJ has a house in Utah, Bruce. You know that? Or he had a house for a long time. He liked Utah. But anyway, it's up near Park City where Sundance happens. But anyway, CP3, Moody, and Kuminga. The 26 and 28 draft picks would be more valuable for the Jazz because the 26 pick is obviously for the beginning of the 26-27 season, which is this season after Steph's max contract runs out. And in return for marketing. And probably, I'm guessing almost all of our second round picks, except maybe for this year, because that second round pick is a lower contract. That would Markkanen's not worth it. Oh, okay, not worth it for the Warriors. Interesting. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, Dean. The next get Mikal Bridges, which I find shocking that they were able to pull that off. But the reason I think the Jazz might be into it is they can then use that Chris Paul salary. It gets Chris Paul paid $30 million one more time, by the way, and I like that. But the Jazz can then use that salary if they want to try and get a high pick of their own for the draft. They get 2 Warriors draft picks, and they get two wings. So I think first would obviously start on that team, right? In Moody and Kuminga, and are much more on the timeline of what their other draft picks are going to be. What I've heard, they're shopping Kessler. I think that's crazy. He's still an excellent defensive center who doesn't seem to mind coming off the bench. Where they brought him and he's making like $2.5 million.
Do you know where you heard that?
No, I just I scrolled through headlines looking for some news and saw something about Jazz shopping Kessler. It's like he makes $2.5 million. And he's young. Like, I don't know. But one thing I like to do whenever I'm proposing a trade for a team, because I like win-win trades more, is to look at the lineup. And I'm thinking Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, John Collins, Chris Paul, Keontae George. They have Taylor Horton Tucker as a free agent. A guy named Taylor Hendricks, who Jazz fans know. I'm not sure the rest of the NBA knows that much about him, but he was pretty good. And then Walker Kessler. Yeah. That's an excellent top 10, and you can't really project too much further beyond top 10 during the draft and free agency and all that. And the Warriors, Bruce said he didn't think Markkanen was worth that, which I find interesting because I think he would be such a great fit. But it maybe shows that this is a little bit closer in terms of value than people who are strong on one side or the other might feel. But for us, it would be Steph. Markkanen's $18 million is helpful in being able to offer Klay enough money to come back. Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Dre, and Markkanen, and then BP, GP2, Looney, and TJD, and then a tax some player we could get at the tax player mid-level. I like Alec Burks. Buddy Hield has been very durable, and he's a Bahamas dude, so maybe that maybe he and Klay would have some sort of nice connection. But I thought that would also Markkanen has never made the playoffs, so we don't know what kind of playoff performer he'll be. But I could just see him being a perfect fit. And finally, Kuminga and Moody, they're probably going to have combined about a similar number, I would imagine, as Markkanen would get for a max contract, considering he's won the MIP. I forget if he was, I don't think he was all NBA. I know he's an all-star. But I would imagine Kuminga and Moody's contract extensions would be close to a similar number as what Markkanen would make himself. And he's 27, 28, so a little closer in range to Steph, a little bit more mature.
Okay,
and,
you got to address Bruce's concerns here. Injury prone and defense.
Okay. Let me see how many games Markkanen played.
Oh, sure.
Over the past.
Over here.
While he's on the Jazz.
Laurie Markkanen.
Oh yeah, 55 and 66. Yep. So that was a little low. He's never played 70 in a season. Yeah, that's an interesting point. But the counter to that is when he does play. No JK trade play. Okay, yeah, I'm down for that too. But I just thought this would be a good fit. But when he does play, Bruce, I think that's about as close to a real ISO killer type 7-footer who can also protect the rim fairly well and rebound. Not sure he's the best passer, but he's not a high turnover type player or anything like that. So yeah, I'm interested in it's intriguing the response that you guys are giving me. You'd rather have Mercurial Wiggins, I think, for a trade. Yeah, it's just I think that Wiggs would be very important in terms of perimeter defense. Yeah, and he would be the fourth. You'd be the fourth shooting option, fifth option for getting the ball.
We're not going to get value for Wiggs, I don't think.
Well, we should try and get a good season from Wiggs if we're going to try and trade him anyway. So considering we have him under contract for the next 3 years, something like that. This year and 2 after that. Wiggs a CP for PG.
Yeah, but why would the Clippers do that?
I guess Wiggins might intrigue them. A little cheaper, younger. I don't think they can take on that contract though. It's like $56 million.
Yeah. That's too big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do that one. Unless they traded another guy.
There's over the second apron. You can't aggregate contracts going out.
Good point. Let's double check that. Because opting in would put them. Oh, it's already counted. Are you sure? 170? Second apron's 189. I don't even know how it works.
Okay, yeah, I guess
project that out or what?
I guess I was adding in what I thought they would give Harden.
Right. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah. It gets complicated.
Yeah. But I guess they could do that, then re-sign Harden. So yeah, they have a little wiggle room there. But it's still $56 million plus James Harden's contract coming in. Kawhi has a declining contract right in the middle. That's really weird. 52, 50, 50.3. What?
Where'd they get that? I wonder if that's like an incentive thing and you got to count the incentives or something.
I have no idea. Are you saying there's no audio, Dean?
I think it's fine now.
Oh, you just posted that 3 minutes
ago.
ago.
Yeah, again, huh? Is it us or them? Well, I can hear you.
Let me check the YouTube. Yeah, I'm hearing it on YouTube. So
talking about Canada. Good Lord. What if Bruce Morrow was an NBA agent? That'd be funny.
What if the NBA had like how courts in the old days would have jesters who are allowed to like mock the king and when no one else did.
You're calling him a court jester?
Oh, it's the best job in the kingdom.
You know, what's funny though is like one of my Japanese league, like there's different like youth groups groups, and one of them based in El Cerrito that I played for is the Court Jesters. And I hated that name because, I'm not trying to hate.
Yeah,
I really had a lot of distaste for that name because I was a pretty serious like amateur player, and I wanted to win every game and all that, and was like it wasn't like it was like business, you know. I'm in the business of winning.
Yeah,
at the expense of some joy, I would say, but like, I didn't last with that franchise. Like, we were just butt heads all the time. So eventually, I just found my own team.
It's not as bad of a name as the Bobcats. which always sounded
yeah.
okay, but they named it after
Bob
their
Johnson.
owner, Robert
Yeah.
Johnson.
Exactly.
Well, I didn't realize he owned a basketball team. I know him as a Blues guy.
Get rid of that.
All
right.
Oh, I watched that video, the video where you had me on.
Yeah.
And you made me sound good, Rich. Thank you, man. This is a great video.
I
I'd
can't even
love
remember.
Yeah.
Which one?
It was the Klay is the GP2 option.
Oh, right at the end of it, where you're giving optimism about Klay.
But it was just a great video overall. Video
thanks.
essay, you know. I really
Oh,
thought
thanks.
it was awesome.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
We could get more than 1.6K views. Like, be great to hit 5 figures, but oh well. But by the way, I have a bit of tremendously great news that we'll save till the end.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Bruce Morrow is officially he's Rich Paul. Bruce is Rich Paul. I'm convinced.
He's an undercover
Bruce
agent.
is really Rich Paul somehow, because like coming up with all these scenarios, like Wiggins and Kawhi are going to check out Canada.
If he is, let's get Draymond on here. Let's get Draymond on here if you really are.
Only Rich Paul can think of things like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're not.
He doesn't want the headache.
We're not working out Bronny James with anybody except the Lakers and the Suns. Like,
yeah,
interesting. Oh, and Minnesota, like, oh, and then Nico Harrison, he's like his uncle. All these little like strategies out of nowhere. That's Bruce Morrow. Strategies out of thin air. Just suddenly a strategy like crazy. All right, let's talk about Brandon Ingram.
Yep. Since our NBA agent has proposed that to us, let's do it.
Brandon Ingram, let's pull up. This is what we do every single time. If I can just pull up the right one. Let's go over to New Orleans. Boop. What's he making? 36 million. What do you think, Dean?
Well, just salary matching, that'd be around.
Who the heck do we have that they would want?
Wiggins and GP2. Salary wise.
Gosh. Why would they want Wiggins?
Look, I don't think the whole league is entirely down on.
Yeah,
I don't think they really want Brandon Ingram in New Orleans either. So
New Orleans doesn't want Brandon Ingram, is what you're saying.
No, I shouldn't say they don't want him. I don't know. I don't follow the Pelicans. Speaking about a interesting name, right? Pelicans. But I think they'd be open to trading him, is what I'm saying.
There's been talk about that here and there. If you go search.
So I don't think it'd be like, oh, they'll never take Wiggins. Why would they want a guy who doesn't complain and defends hard and is durable? It's like,
he might be a better fit, and just when I sort of watched the Kings Warriors playing game in the background, Wiggs was pretty good. He was actually pretty good. He wasn't like,
Wiggs got a lot better near the end.
It was like one of the better, he's mercurial and everything, but it was one of the better Wiggs performances. In fact, let's just double check that. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah. Keep going. What do you think about Brandon Ingram? Am I not going to get the stat? Where do I find the stats for playing on BK Ref?
Okay. Scroll up.
Oh, scroll up.
Yeah. Go to the go to the homepage
of Basketball Reference.
Yeah. Okay. Scroll down.
You're kidding me.
You're gonna want to try and find dates. like month.
Gotcha. Yeah, you told me this. How do you find the date?
Jeez.
Can I just go April 16th? Was it April 16th? No, can't do that.
Here, let me try and find it. I'll send the link for you. I forget how to do it. Okay. Bars.
Let's see.
Seasons. Schedule and results. Yep, that's it.
Well, we said it at the same time. That's nuts.
Oh, nice.
That is nuts.
Yeah. It's not very cool that you have to do this, but there we
I
go.
still don't know what I'm doing. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Scroll.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna want to go to May.
How do I do that? Is there a way to scroll down? All right. I'm just gonna
scroll up. Scroll up.
Two more
Yeah.
scrolls and I'm done.
Yeah. Go down a little.
Oh, April.
Hit April. Yeah. If you look over on the right, you can
There it
skip
is.
all that, reading all that. It'll say play in tournament and notes.
Okay. Wiggins.
Yeah, that
4
was
for
easy.
11, so not the best. But when I watched him, he wasn't. I mean, the numbers here probably don't really say that, but it wasn't awful. So it was pretty average.
Well, the whole team was bad anyway. So, yeah.
Okay. Actually, he had the worst plus minus.
Yep.
Crazy. All right.
He
Anyway,
had a block, 3 rebounds.
I'm curious to watch that game again.
Yeah, that's not a rewatch I'm gonna like as much as the championship, but
we're not gonna watch. We're not gonna have a watch party of it. I'm just gonna watch it on my own.
I got you.
But so Brandon Ingram, yeah. What did you say? Would you do this deal? I guess Wiggins. Okay, fine. Tough one, huh?
I like helping our offense, but considering the best salary matching would probably be GP2 and Wiggs. I'm a little worried about the perimeter defense. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
He would be a real bucket getter in Steve Kerr's offense, I think. But here's the other thing, Rich. Kerr didn't seem to trust him that a ton in the Olympics, or not the Olympics, the World Cup or whatever it's called.
But he was injured.
He was injured. Okay, forgot about that.
Yeah, just didn't play. In fact, Kerr really liked him in terms of like.
Did he? Because people don't seem to remember that. They keep saying,
really?
Oh, Kerr didn't like him. And, yeah. Just random people forgot.
Steve always diffuses praise on everybody, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Ingram was one of them. So, I don't know. I'd have to disagree, but then I didn't keep close tabs.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I really don't know. I know that's not the best radio thing to say, but I guess I would look for another. That wouldn't be my first option, like marketing, talking about a trade.
I think you and I kind of lean more towards running it back than most. I still would be shocked if we came back with sort of the same team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool where predictions are virtually impossible this offseason.
Well, missing the playoffs completely, not even having a top 8 seed. You talk about 21. We had a top 8 seed at least. That was not good for the organization. $200-something million in tax, and you didn't even get a home play-in game. That was in Sacramento. So on the other hand, I don't think the Warriors are going to take Steph's last few years at that contract, and therefore expected to play at an MVP level. I don't think they're going to take that lightly. They can't really. I mean, they can't. So I think the Warriors will be aggressive, but I also don't think they'll make a move just to make a move, because that's like what the Lakers did, right? They overreacted, losing in the first round in 21, and traded Caruso or let Caruso walk, and traded a bunch of their. I think they traded KCP, they traded Kuzma, they traded all these guys for Westbrook just to make a move, and that wasn't a good fit, and it didn't work.
As you say that, I thought back to the Paul George Wiggins scenario. My fault. Paul George Kuminga scenario.
Yep.
I do think this makes us better immediately, though. Like, this is more championship caliber than without Paul George and with Kuminga, let's say. Outside of the talk about Klay Thompson, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. If I think Paul George replacing Kuminga and also not having CP3 on our team, I think that's actually a better team than the team we just had. I'll put it that way. So I guess that includes Klay on the team that we just had and no more Klay. However, I will also say that it makes us a better playoff team, but I don't know if it makes us a better 82-game team to get into the top 6. I would think so, because we did finish the second half with a 27-14 record and the 6th best record in the NBA, which would be equivalent of top 4 in the West. Only the second half, though, which then, man, Draymond has been responsible for a lot, both ring-wise and non-ring-wise, I feel. But that's what you get, that's what you get with him. You can't get the ring years without him, so,
Don't know about the relationship between Paul George and Steph, by the way, either.
Really? Why?
Paul George was with Seth Curry's wife or girlfriend before Seth was with her, and there was something going on with it. I don't remember what it was, and I don't want to be too gossipy. Just think they might have a little. Of course, it was Doc Rivers' daughter. Or something like. Anyway, I think there's a little tension there. Also, thanks, Bruce, for the link, although you put it up to a paywall website.
Oh, it's The Athletic, right?
Yes, or New York Times, too.
Yeah, it's The Athletic.
Oh, right. The Athletic is from New York Times. That's right. Yeah, I think if you trade for Paul George, you can't bring Klay back. So I don't.
I didn't say I'd do it, but I said that I can't really say that, man. I'll say this, that if we started the playoffs tomorrow, which of course is not realistic, we would have a better roster to contend in those playoffs if we started it tomorrow. Because as part of, I'm sort of wiggling my way around saying that I do think Kuminga is going to improve and become quite a force by the end of the regular season.
So do I.
So in that way, I guess I am leaning towards not doing the deal. Maybe just falling in love with the potential of JK.
Well, if you look up his highlights, it's pretty insane how how good Kuminga is at such a young age of just getting past people, breaking open the defense by getting to the hoop, or I think he has a nice touch in the mid range. His 3-point shooting needs to improve, but I think Kuminga will have it's likely that Kuminga remains on the team because it's only these super high level players that I would even consider trading him for.
Yeah. Here, let me play the Zach Lowe few seconds.
Oh, great!
That I got. Here you go for everybody that loves Kuminga. Here you go. I think I queued it up right.
Getting into without including Kuminga.
Oh, we'll go back.
That has a June 28th deadline to guarantee. They're going to get themselves into interesting conversations. What conversations they can get into without including Kuminga are going to be the pivot point for me, because I just don't see any appetite there for them to trade Kuminga unless it's for like a player that is even a stratosphere above Paul George, because Kuminga has been a Joe Lacob favorite. He's still just scratching the surface of what he can do, and he has all-star potential. I mean, that's clear already.
And I don't want to just play his podcast ad nauseum, but like you get the point.
No, it was a good quote on Kuminga.
Yeah. No,
I agree with that.
Lowe has been talking to people within the Warriors, I would think, and so kind of gets that sense.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and he's always very. One thing I love about Lowe is that he's so not like a hot take kind of guy.
Not Stephen A. Smith, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Stephen A. just because of his long career.
Yeah,
in the media. Yeah. Everybody knows his name, and it's Stephen Smith. So, I have a good family friend named Steve Smith. Man, he's a music producer. Or engineer, music engineer.
There's a lot of Steve Smiths out there, huh?
Yeah.
Former Atlanta Hawk dude.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got one guy in my old Japantown league, not Japanese league, Japantown in San Francisco. It was open to all ethnicities. One guy, Dave Amity. Dave Amity out there, man. He used to, old dude, OG. And he used to do the drive left, hesitate like you're about to spin, but keep going and totally throw you off. That's trademark Steve Smith move, in case you guys remember any.
Yeah, it's like a half spin, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I love those
NBA type stuff.
I love those pivot moves of all kinds. I just think pivoting is really cool.
Oh, it's a lost art.
Yeah, really.
Who does that now other than like Kyrie and Luka?
No, I see even JK, he's used some of that.
Oh, okay. I guess I mean more
but guards,
style. Not explosive style, deliberate style.
Oh, Bruce sent that link that you asked for, Rich.
Oh my gosh. What's the date on this? 2022, not that long ago. Okay, cool.
I wonder if I think Seth might have married.
Seth married Callie Rivers. Yeah.
Yeah, they got married. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a basketball family, man. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Father, son,
right, so,
father-in-law, son-in-law.
No on Paul George. No on Paul George, and no on. We should have done a poll.
Oh yeah.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Wow.
No on Paul George, and no on Brandon Ingram. Wait, would Bruce do Brandon Ingram? He said he would, right? I think he said yeah, right?
Well, let's see. Would you do that, Bruce? Oui ou non?
All right, I think I'm ready to just get some rest tonight. I still have to finish the editing on the video, and then anything else real quick?
I'm just wondering, is there anyone not sticking to super strict rules, but just anyone that you would like the Warriors to maybe look at trade-wise?
Who, me?
Yeah.
It would have been marketing.
Marketing too? Okay.
I would need to do more thorough research, especially.
I know. No, I'm just saying off the top of your head, thinking
but just
that guy would be a great fit if we could get him somehow.
Yeah. The thought of a 7-foot, long wingspan and ability to shoot threes is very, very intriguing. You just love to possibly see that on the floor with Steph. But then it used to be Steph and Klay, right? So I think if Klay doesn't come back to the Warriors, then I think that gets just a little bit adjusted, like all the dream trade scenarios that are within some realm of possibility. So like the marketing type thing, I might still do it. Yeah. No, it's just like I think we need to take probably 2 weeks to recover from news of Klay leaving before we can just kind of re-envision this team. So next month, next 30 days is going to be wow.
Well, everyone wants to bury the dynasty, but it would kind of take one of those guys leaving for it to really happen, or retiring, so.
Oh, well, Bruce has something for you. What do you think of Miles Bridges?
No.
Hard no, hard pass there.
Draymond talked with Dunleavy about his friend. His friend. I mean, we do have the 52nd pick,
What do you mean?
He's talking about LeBron.
I thought he meant Miles Bridges, because Miles Bridges went to Michigan.
No, he asked about that, and then I'm pretty sure he's saying Draymond talked to Dunleavy about. Well, would Draymond talk to LeBron about Dunleavy? That's the.
LeBron's not going to take a pay cut anywhere.
I don't think so either. But can you imagine if we got Markin and LeBron signed on a minimum?
Yeah.
Yeah, the NBA would hate us even more than they already do. Even though they are getting a lot. The rest of these teams, man, they have made a lot of money off the Warriors' back. Boy, all that tax getting redistributed to teams that don't want to spend money.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what, $12 million a year?
Yeah, it was 11 million according to Bobby Marks. 11 million, and the Warriors.
And we didn't even get our mid-level exception.
A few days ago, they wired $177 million to the NBA. Can you imagine that? because I know this because Lacob literally said this on a Kawakami podcast like 2 years ago.
It has to be all at once too. You can't make a
Yeah.
payment.
You just got to
over
wire
time. Yeah. Yep.
chunk that I'll never see.
I would send it to him in cash.
Brinks truck.
Brinks train, man. It's $177 million. And that was not payroll. That was just the tax. But we have Steph. We just got to keep going. We have to keep contending. We can't let. We are not riding off into the sunset with Steph making $50 million a year. That's we're not doing that. We need to have at least a playoff run. You know, we're not tanking or anything like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to be forever that the Warriors are going to be in this tax situation, but we owe Steph that, man. Because $177 million is a lot, but buying the franchise for $450 million and it now being worth $7 billion, that's pretty much Steph. And without him, no, that's not $7 billion. So, yeah.
Yeah. I should do a Wiggins video because the conundrum of Wiggins. What do you think? Would Atlanta want Wiggins as part of a Murray trade? Should Klay leave? I like DeJounte Murray. I just don't know that.
I think they're trying to get off Trae Young, Rich. I think that.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to keep Murray.
But anyways, so you don't even think that they would trade DeJounte?
Well, I think they want him as their point guard, and they have the number 1 pick, and they'll probably get a haul back for Trae Young. I don't know that. Again, I don't really follow the Hawks, just based on never hearing anything from Hawks people about Murray, and hearing a lot of stuff from people like, from reputable sources like Zach Lowe or, Keith Smith or Bill Simmons or whoever it is,
Who would you say before Keith Smith?
Zach Lowe.
Oh, Zach Lowe. Okay, yeah.
Guys like that. Just hearing a little bit more about
who the heck is Zappa?
Zeppo. Zeppo Marks. Yeah. That's an old one.
Talking to the Marx Brothers now? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
not Harpo though.
That's not surprising. Yeah.
I know he don't talk. But I don't think they're looking to trade Murray really. Personally. Unless they're looking to trade both of them and just do a full rebuild. But they have the number 1 pick. I know, it's a weak draft and whatever, but there's going to be someone, I also think we couldn't really have drafted a guard in 21 in the 21 draft or in the 2020 draft.
Yeah.
Because Klay just tore his Achilles and you just can't. It felt very wrong to do that. But if we had wanted to pick Tyrese Halliburton second, which some people were suggesting because he was such a great analytical player and things like that, there would have been pushback like, well, he's not really second pick like normal material, especially in a draft like this. Forget that, man. Just draft whoever you think is good. The draft is a shot in the dark enough without limiting yourself to like, well, that doesn't seem like a second round pick, even though this guy plays really well. Like, what kind of superstitious nonsense is that? I don't get that. I don't get why people have that. Like, I guess it's just if they get it wrong, their job is in jeopardy. But why it didn't work out anyway?
Well, you do have to respect the pressure that they're under.
I do respect that. I'm talking more about the narrative around it. that like the media makes up. I get the pressure on the
it's
GM.
still though. Yeah, it's you don't know unless you're actually in that war room. So
No, that's true. That's true. I'm picturing myself rather
maybe
than
we can
having
ask that.
knowledge of it.
Let's remember to ask Doc Martin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
I'd love to
please
hear.
remember to do that.
Okay.
I've got a lot on my plate, so I might not.
I'll write myself a
But-
little note right here.
Oh, I wanted to add to you. You should go check out a clip. Maybe you could just text me later. I'll send it to you. But Andy Katz of ESPN, when they went around the three of them studio, I forgot who else was on there. Oh, NBA TV, I believe. I can't remember, but that dude Wasserman was on there as well. I don't know if it was the same. There's a lot of podcasts and TV studios, whether it's ESPN or NBA TV, doing these things. So I get confused. But Andy Katz, I know for sure it was Andy Katz. They go around the room as, who do you think is just the most talented player in the draft? Who is the real number one, so to speak?
Yeah.
And he goes, Stephon Castle. And then he said exactly what you said. You know, not in so many words, but like pretty much the same thesis.
Yeah.
Is that because this draft is the way it is, just draft the most talented one. So that's what his number one. And he's like, but I'm not a GM, so I don't really know what they're going through. So he said exactly what you said, though. So go check it out. You got a guy in your corner.
Hey. I was just thinking back, especially about the Halliburton thing, how people are like, we all like him, but he's just not top three. Like,
yeah, right.
It's like, well, hey, he turned out like the guy you all thought was good is really good. And yeah. So just was thinking about that the night before the draft a little bit. But you said it was Wasserman on NBA TV. Is that right?
Yeah. I'd been following him, and I had no idea that he'd end up on like a TV network. It's pretty good. Pretty good bucket list there for Mr. Wasserman. I forget his first name.
It was 3 days ago, maybe draft class.
No, but the guy that said Stephon Castle and draft the most talented, a la Halliburton or whatever, that's Andy Katz.
Oh, okay.
Just in case you want to look it up.
Katz.
Yep.
Okay, I'll try and find it.
All right, Warriors Media. Are you really Warriors Media? But anyways, do you think? Okay, so here's I'm glad you brought it up because I haven't really brought it up since we lost to the Kings and then a couple live streams after that. Well, I just think that even though I would run back this squad pretty much like here, I just think that it'll end up that we don't. Like whatever it is. And Dunleavy, yeah, okay. I loved how Kawakami asked him literally on the podium yesterday. Okay, so he goes, it might.
Please go check out that video, by the way.
He goes, last year you said you wouldn't trade Poole, and then you did. So explain that one. And Dunleavy said the only thing he can really say is, I honestly didn't think I was going to trade him at that moment in time. But things happened quickly, and that deal happened quickly. So
yeah, CP3 was traded to the Wizards for Brad Beal.
Who?
Bradley Beal?
No, who? No, before that. You said GP2?
CP3?
Oh, CP3.
Yeah.
Right. So CP3
then
traded to the Wizards.
Became available.
Yeah.
Right.
So, no, I mean, I believe him. But it was cool because Dunleavy goes, I reserve the right, but he always says he wants to keep his guys and all of that. So, in other words, I think something will happen just because something always happens. Like, I don't recall an off season when nothing happened other than when we had KD and we ran it back.
And there's more pressure on the team, right? Because we were the 5 straight finals, and then Klay gets hurt. Klay gets hurt in the finals. Steph breaks his hand, and then Klay gets hurt again, and we come back and go 39 and 33, nice 15 and 5 finish to the regular season. And like, let's see what team we have with Klay back, and obviously we did trade for Wiggins in that time. Win the title, come back, win a tough second round series. Win a tough 7-game first round series against the Kings, and then second round series against the Lakers. A little closer in a couple of those games. Wiggins has a broken rib, but then I know it was more games. We won more games, but not even really being close this year. That if we had lost in the second round, if we were in the second round against the Mavericks or something instead of the Thunder or whatever, I don't know, it wouldn't be this level of pressure. But missing the playoffs, when obviously the most important thing is to get Steph, Klay, and Dre another ring, right? That is what makes me think that I don't know if it'll be Wiggins or what. I don't know if it'll be the marketing trade that I'm suggesting, or the Paul George trade that Rich brought up, or something we haven't even seen, really mentioned much. But I do think there's a lot of pressure on the team to find a way to improve. But the Warriors are also smart enough, competent enough organization to know that that's not a good idea if it's kind of just trading for a big name to make a splash. That doesn't really work most of the time,
Yeah, on the Lester Quinones stuff, it's just like I think that the last few roster spots are just kind of, how else to say it, like kind of anything goes. Like, I wouldn't get too attached to these because these always seem to be in flux, as they should be. It's a pecking order.
Yeah, TJD is back, I'm sure. Guy Santos, I imagine, is back just because he's cheap.
Yeah.
And I would imagine the Warriors do want that second round pick because it's as close to the cheapest contract they can offer to get to the 14 minimum roster spots. And I'm not sure we'll carry 15 this year. I think it'll probably be 14 throughout most of the year, at least. I'll do the two-way thing, see if maybe one of those guys earns a contract.
Keep going. I'll be right back.
On the other hand, this team has a lot of talent, a lot of assets. I think somehow that there's starting to be a consensus among the media that we're done and we suck and that we'll never make it back. And I don't really believe that. I think we have a pretty talented team. We have a top, not all the media, but a lot of the media, seems to have started counting us out completely. And I'm still have I think good hopes and reasonable hopes that this team can this Warriors squad going into next year, whatever moves they make or don't make or whatever, we're going to be okay in terms of the talent on the team and everything like that. But we're really going to need Klay back. If Klay's back, we'll be doing all right. I really think that's very important. But I've been saying that every live stream, So even if Klay isn't back, I would at least hope we can do a sign and trade or something to get some value back from him. But we have a squad that can play a lot better than we played last year, and Draymond knows he has to be on his mentally at his sharpest and most under control. And if we have that, we weren't too far from 50-something wins this year. Our chemistry's back, it feels like. So just let's ride under the radar a little bit and have a little faith that all this young talent, all this good chemistry that we have can work together. And I mean, we're talking about maybe trading Kuminga for a star or letting him become the somewhat unguardable physical force that I think we saw a lot of last year. And, will only, I think, especially going into a contract year for him. Not that he seems motivated by that as much as, being great and winning, but he has every incentive in the world to really show out. And also the coaching staff is going to have to trust the young guys more if there isn't that kind of Markkanen or Paul George type trade out there. Oh yeah, if you want to hear the draft analysis, check out the beginning of the pod.
Okay, I want to wrap this up because we'll be right back here, less than 24 hours.
Sounds good.
But I do want to make that big announcement. But wait, actually, I had one thought before the big announcement. Dean, you said we're good as long as Klay is back. One thing that Tim Kawakami has been doing on Twitter is giving his percent gut feel of Klay coming back. Last week, it was as high as like 58, 56%.
Yeah.
Now it's at 51% after Dunleavy's podium, which I find kind of silly, honestly. It's at least it's not Stephen A. Smith on a soapbox. Yada, yada. It's Tim Kawakami's sort of innocuous tweet, reasoned tweet. He's always got sound logic behind what he says, but it's now he says 51%, and you're basing it on your feel from the guy on the podium. It's also only June 25th. We still got a few days, 6 more days till July 1st. And I'm telling you, if Steve Kerr is in the room with Klay and that's the last meeting, he will get Klay to come off that ledge. And I do want to repeat, I think Klay needs to get over himself, but that is the trait that made him great. That is the paradox actually here. In fact, it is the trait that makes all of these great NBA players great, is to have that edge, that feeling like you got disrespected. But at some point, I think, I don't mean to make decisions for him, but dude, this is my thing. Klay, bro, you're going to be most happiest as a Warrior next year.
Yeah.
I can almost
guarantee
that. Like, if just friend to friend, number one, what you're doing right now is ego driven, but number two, respect that, because it's built to your level of that is abnormally high for a human being, and it's gotten you to this point. But then also remember that, dude, how many of us on this live stream wouldn't rather be in Klay's shoes, choosing between, 20 million here, 30 million there, whatever the case may be? Like, he's making more in one negotiation than we'll ever see in a lifetime for most of us. Like, come on. Like, you got to kind of have that meta view and that gratitude at some point. And I thought that Steve got through to him during the season on that, but apparently, there's so many things that are out of everyone's control that are just, I've seen it so many times, just forming my own teams for Asian American basketball tournaments. Just shit happens, man. I mean, how many more shit happening to yous do you need? Like, it just happens. So don't take it personally. It's just life. That's what you go through. So you either choose to draw your sword and to partake in that supremely competitive environment that luckily results in no violence usually, or no tragic war-like deaths, or no Hamilton Burr duels. Okay, at least we've evolved past Hamilton Burr.
If you lose, you still get paid and you have fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just want to close on Klay, man, just calm down, and I hope Steve is there to be the one to calm me down, because this is why people should love Steve Kerr. On the other hand, he gets torn apart for being this touchy-feely guy, this super honest guy, this super relationship management guy that he's so strong on that it appears like all other things that he does is a weakness. Like, oh, he can't do X's and O's or this and that and the other thing. But like, this is what he's so good at. So I feel like if Steve gets a chance to bring Klay off that ledge, and by the way, you might say, oh, but isn't that Lacob's job? Isn't that Dunleavy's job? I don't know enough about Dunleavy. But as far as Lacob, I mean, he has that same ego in his, vertical that Klay has in the basketball vertical. Like, Steve is the one. Steve has his own obviously he must have a prism of egotistical stuff out there that makes him special.
Steve Kerr is the fiery side. Definitely.
Exactly. But as far as this side, like, he can get Klay off that ledge. So.
Well, just think why we're so anxious for him to stay, Yeah. It's not just because, like, oh, he's a good shooter. It's because that's Klay, man. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of embodies that's funny. Back in 21, there was talks about maybe trading Klay because he got hurt and might want to. The Warriors need to get under the tax and all that stuff. And Karis Burke put out a tweet or something saying, you don't want to trade your soul for Klay. She was talking about trade the soul of the team. I forget who they wanted, Ben Simmons or something like that, I think. So that might be good to remember. Klay deserves to feel wanted, to be a free agent, to determine his own path, and obviously he's still considered and rightfully so to be one of the best players in the league, right? If he has interest from all these teams that really feel like, oh, this guy can put us over the top, So, I don't know anything about Klay or the people around Klay, other than that Rocco is a very good boy. I know that. I really feel glad that he seems to be. Yeah, I know people are talking, contracts stalled or whatever, but he seems to be.
Yeah, that's
really considered a very, very important player around the world.
Tomorrow in the next 6 days,
yeah, and it does start June 30th, by the way.
It just needs to not stall.
They don't get signed. Yeah.
So it starts on June 30th. All right. Mm-hmm. Then what's the July 1 date?
That's so that the NBA doesn't have to remind teams that they can't have met a free agent 5 minutes ago and already have a contract written, because that's tampering, and they're just like, hey, stop doing that. I think
So what's the June 30th thing?
June 30th is contract negotiations begin. That you cannot sign them until July 1st.
Gotcha.
I think that's what's going
Thanks.
on. Pretty sure.
Okay. By the way, I just put a link. We'll do this when we have time in the next couple minutes. Steve Kerr went on Jim Rome, and this is partly why I thought about Steve when we talk about Klay now, because just hearing him talk calms me down. So we'll end with that, and then we'll end with the really good news that I have. Let's see. We'll see what the number is. I said in my there's a new video coming out. No, I said earlier in this live stream. Now it's all a blur. Wouldn't it be funny if Klay really just came back at 24 million for?
Oh, I have thoughts on that. I have thoughts on Klay's contract.
Oh yeah, I read that wrong, Parth. My bad. 75 mil. I didn't see the 3 years. Let me just delete. What did you say?
Oh no, I just I have ideas on Klay's contract too. You know, an offer that he would find difficult to refuse.
Yeah. Bruce, you think Wiggs will get traded tomorrow?
Oh wow. Well, who knows what's going to happen?
I'm gonna pass on answering Warriors media question by just saying there's infinite possibilities. Actually,
you can check earlier in this podcast too. For some of the things about that.
Timestamps are in the description already.
Yep.
Did you want to say real quick what your ideas are with the Klay?
I think we can offer him up to 120, 27, 29, 31, 33. No trade clause, maybe trade kicker, so he gets more value if he gets traded somewhere else. And obviously, you can waive that trade kicker and waive the trade clause if he wants to leave. Easier contract if he doesn't like it here to go to almost any team he wants in the league and not have to stick with Philadelphia or Orlando. I don't know. I think that would be a pretty solid offer. 4 years too. 4 years.
Did you text that to me yet?
I think I might have texted you something about that, but I don't think I included the trade kicker. I can text you that.
Yeah. Text it to me if I have time, which I'm just finding hard to find time these days. I'll write it up on the website, or maybe if you want to write it up, that'd be actually better. Write it up and just don't hit publish it. Let me edit it.
Right. I remember that. I remember that.
Oh, Bruce, the ultimate compliment, bro.
Hey,
thanks, man. I appreciate that. Let me screenshot that. We'll do both styles. Let me do the full page, and then I got to do this too. Ready, Dean? All right. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate you, man. Too bad it's at the end of it, though. I didn't. Nah.
Hey, good ideas come at all times, man.
Thanks, man. Let's see. Oh, you know what? One of my friends, his name's Nick. I don't know if Nick is. Nah, he would have commented if he was randomly watching. Nick was at the concert with when Russ and DeMar went on stage for K-Dot. He had it in his Instagram, and I was just like, man, you were there? Wow. You were there when pop culture made history. Let's see. Oh, Parth says he heard that it's more about starting role than money. Yeah. I mean, there's so many facets to this. I feel you, Klay, man. If like even just the thought, I'm not saying Orlando has pitched him or anything, but even the thought of possibly playing for Orlando, where to me it'd be pretty clear that if it was him instead of KCP, either him or KCP would be a starter for the Magic. And just the thought of that, like you're thinking, man, I could start on like an Eastern Conference playoff team that's probably going to make the playoffs for the next 4 years type thing. You know, it's tough. It's tough. What's up, Arbel?
Yeah, Arbel.
Oh, man, Bruce. Man, Bruce is on fire. We gotta screenshot that, man. Ready, Dean? There you go. We both have Chomche in our background. People are gonna be like, "What? What's Chomche doing back there?" And you're doing a Kendrick Lamar reference. Oh, Cholo. Everybody give a warm round of applause for Cholo. He has helped me with the Let's Go Valkyries logo. It's just that I haven't had time to get to it. Like, oh my goodness. But I did look at the
I can't wait to see what it is, man. I can't wait.
The
I'm very excited
WNBA
about that.
schedule has the playoffs are in late September and the finals end in mid-October. So we're good. September is going to be pretty much dedicated to Let's Go Valkyries, which they're not playing any games. So we'll do more Caitlin watch parties because that's what we do. And there's nothing else going on in September. I'm sorry. There really isn't anything going on basketball-wise.
Yeah, let's hope not. Warriors-wise.
Oh man, Shivansh. Okay, we gotta get Shivansh in here too. Oh my goodness, I feel so blessed. Are you purposely looking up there?
Oh well, yeah, I guess so, but not for the photo.
Oh, well, let's do two. No, was it a Kendrick Lamar reference by any chance?
No.
You were looking at your cat
up here?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right, ready? Let's see. Olympics done in September. No, I already checked that. Olympics is done. Gold medal game is August 11th, I believe. Women's game is August 12th, I think, roughly. No, August 10th, August 11th. Anyways, go check usab.com for that. They're going to end August 10th and 11th. Yeah, the NFL.
I'm flying to New York that day.
Brandon Ayuk is a big topic. Oh, you're flying to New York. Get out. What for?
Yeah. Huh?
What for?
Go visit my my mom is from Long Island.
Long Island.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Let's run the Steve Kerr audio real quick. It is
absolutely.
A minute and 13. Let's just, since we kind of moved on from the Klay talk, my bad. Let's just play that. Let me find the right window to play the audio only, because I wouldn't want to play this video when it's owned by Jim Rome. We'll just do the audio for now.
He's played such an important role in helping you win those 4 titles. With Klay reaching the end of his current contract and free agency starting this weekend, how do you personally approach a situation where you obviously have such a close relationship with the player, but there is a business side that both have to consider?
Yeah, and I mean, this is the way it works in the NBA and any professional sport. There's just going to be difficult moments, uncomfortable moments where money is involved, contracts, respect, however you want to put it. What I do know is that Klay has been such an integral part of everything around here. Obviously, multi-time champion, but even more than that, just someone who has such a great connection with the Bay Area, with the franchise, with his teammates. And so we want Klay back desperately. I want him back desperately. We will have our conversations, and he's got to make whatever decision he makes. But we really want him back. He's Klay Thompson.
All right. Thanks for listening to that, folks. Dean, anything else?
Oh, just great to hear Kerr, and I agree with what you're saying about him, being able to talk to Klay in a way that a lot of coaches couldn't. I think that's really important. Just
hearing Steve's voice.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so therapeutic, honestly, man.
Yeah.
And
Steve Kerr talks you to sleep.
Twitter is gonna tell you otherwise. All right, so my really cool announcement. Finally, 2 hours into this, when I said I wouldn't go longer than an hour.
That's
guess who got credentialed for Team USA?
Let's go.
I was literally shocked, but it was one of those good shock awe thing. So I will be there for training camp. I guess I got to go to the game just as one last. I don't know what to do about that. So, you guys, what do we do? What I could do is I could set it up so that I maybe go to a hotel room across from T-Mobile Arena to go run the live stream there and then run right back for the post game. I don't know, right? Something like that. And maybe Dean, if somebody can be available that day to be on StreamYard to have the link still connected, that'd be great. But like, I also want to know what people would like me to do other than the obvious. I think you'd want me to go, and I'd have to get permission to do this. You'd want me to go live from the Vegas gym, right? Right when I walk in and approach Steph, like that's a no-brainer, right?
If it's possible. I mean, that sounds great. Yeah.
I would think so. Like, unless they tell me, oh no, I don't know. ESPN has the rights for live stream.
Yeah. No, I mean, whatever you can do, Rich. I think we'd all be just super happy just to be around it, really.
Yeah. Maybe a restaurant. Well, I got to find a place with good Wi-Fi. So hotels don't have good Wi-Fi. I got to find like something across from T-Mobile Arena so that I can duck in and duck out. But I don't think I can live stream from the arena. That's a no-brainer in terms of the network deals that they have. And
right.
So if you guys have any ideas, I mean, it's a blank canvas. What would you like me to do? And I will say, I think it'll be the last. I'll go to the golf tournaments just because it's a nice environment. I'll always do those. But as far as going into an arena and doing all the things I used to do, I've already mentally moved on from that. So now I've got to go back for one more time, like going in with 2 cameras, you know what I mean? Like 2 phones, one's live, all of that crazy stuff. I'll do it one more time. And this is the last time. And it makes perfect sense that it would be like Team USA with Steve and Steph. And also with, if it was the Warriors, let's say we knew that Steph, Klay, and Draymond were retiring. I don't even think I'd go to that because I feel like just going for like the retirement of the last game, the 82nd game, or you'd have to guess.
Oh, the 28th playoff game,
There would be playoff games and you'd have to guess which one's the last. Like, that would burn me out. I'd be in the hospital. We
want you on here, Rich. Mostly.
So that's why I the more I think about it, like this being credentialed for USA, which I didn't think I would get because I got rejected last time. But I think I got rejected last time was because there weren't any Warriors on the team other than Steve. And
interesting. Yeah, right.
I don't even know how I got it this time. It's just like I haven't covered anything for a while other than Anthony going to All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think this will be the last one for me where I just kind of go all out in terms of everything media while I'm there, like really maximize. I've always done that. You just maximize everything that you can do while you have the credential. Like this will be the last one, and it's just like swan song.
No, it sounds amazing, man. And what a nice way to put a bow on that part of your media career, Wouldn't that be wonderful? Vegas, Kerr, Steph, Olympics, Team USA. That sounds really nice, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I want to help. I've always approached it that way. Like I got a credential. I want to like share it with you guys. That's what built this channel. I want to share it with you guys to the best of my ability. That isn't, that doesn't step on anybody's toes anywhere. That's why I always went all out. That's why I got so in my previous personality. I would get so peeved when someone would comment something negative while I was like going live in the Denver University gym with Andre Iguodala joking around with Klay Thompson.
You can't help it, man. You can't.
Like I got overly sensitive about that because I was killing myself to get
There
that.
was this guy. I was working at a coffee and juice and smoothie like place, right? And there was this guy, and he ordered something, and I had like 15 drinks to make or something like that. And he came up like 5 minutes later, like, "What are you doing? Why isn't my drink ready yet?" Like, I know the owner. It's like, I have all these orders, sir. Do you not see that? But you can't say that to him, you know. Thankfully, you weren't able to get fired by the YouTube commentators or whatever, Rich, you know. But please don't do that. But people are working their ass off. Like, try not to tell them that one little thing you saw go wrong or whatever is. I mean, I'm not saying you guys do that, but I remember people saying that, Rich. Like, wasn't your audio better? It's like, I'm in the arena after the game.
Yeah. But I took it a little, you know, that's what happens when you're out there, and it's nothing like being a war correspondent, but I mean, that's the really kind of like.
No, you're in a stress, like go kind of state of mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the good news. And so I got to really mentally prepare myself, probably start doing some push-ups. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I mean, just not just mentally preparing, but like physically preparing, make sure I properly hydrated, especially out there in 107-degree Vegas heat, although the gym is air conditioned, thank goodness. But yeah, I tell you what, even the walk, it's literally like a 40-yard walk, 20 yard. I'm not good with estimations like that, but like 25-yard walk from the media room to the gym. And dude, it's like the most uncomfortable walk ever just to get from one air condition to the next and then be ready to film everything.
I grew up in that, Rich. That was every summer day. 100-something degree dry heat.
Wait, where were you?
Salt Lake.
Salt Lake is like that?
In the summer?
Yeah. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. Vegas might be a little hotter, but they don't get snow.
I did not know Salt Lake would get so unbearable like that.
Oh, yeah. It gets really, really hot in the summer. Like where if you touch the handle on like one of those metal handles, it'll like burn your hand.
Crazy.
Outside door. Yeah. In fact, you know, we get the Santa Anas down there, right? Have you heard of those? The Santa Ana winds coming off the Mojave.
Yes.
Yeah. And I swear I looked around and last time we got them real bad, I was like, Utah? Am I back? Yeah. Oh, hey, man, just stay in the shade, you know. There's no water in the air at all. It's dry heat. So the shade is nice. It'll be fine.
Bruce with a prediction tomorrow. We don't do predictions, Bruce. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of French.
French. Oh man.
I wonder why France has exploded so much in terms
Bruce
of NBA players.
You should write a rap song that has that in it.
Yeah.
Right.
In Haitian what was it, patois or Creole or whatever it's called. Yeah.
This is, man, look at that.
Great.
This makes me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Totally agree, Dean.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer for me to go live while walking into the gym on the first day over in Vegas to see Steph Curry wearing a USA jersey again. 2017? So 7 years later. Whew. Yeah. So I'm going to be on a little bit of cloud nine for several hours here, but yeah, now it's, you know, kind of logistics time and
that's great.
figuring things out. But But yeah, I want to end on that note. I still.
Oh, thanks, Bruce.
Yeah. Oh, cool. But we'll see you guys all tomorrow. You ready for this, Dean? We're gonna be. I don't know how long we're gonna go, but like, shoot, I have a feeling we'll be on for a while. I don't know.
Well, it'll be very interesting because the Warriors will be so high up in the news probably, and yet we don't have anything right now to do with tomorrow.
Yeah,
we don't have a first round pick, and obviously remember second round is Thursday, and then CP3's contract is right now supposed to be guaranteed on Friday.
Yep.
So I haven't really been looking into the draft picks all that much, except for a few guys here.
Yeah, me neither.
I think I'm excited to see more once they pan out, what they're kind of like and how they fit with their teams. I've been hearing Reed Shepherd is a really good shooter and scorer who's around Steph's height. So I always like seeing those kind of guys, the smaller shooter guys try and make. If he had I think he had 5 steals 5 times in his college career too. So at least he works hard in defense. I wonder where he'll go, how high a pick he'll be. I think it'd be interesting for San Antonio because they need a point guard, but who knows? Risache, if he'll be the number 1 pick for the Hawks, just what the Hawks will do at all, having jumped so high up in the draft. That's kind of a wild situation for them to find themselves in and see what kind of moves are going down. So I do think it'll give us a little bit of a free reign to kind of talk about whatever we want to, though, tomorrow, more so than if we were trying to figure out how this important first round draft pick fits in with the Warriors system. So I think that'll be kind of fun.
So next live tomorrow for the draft.
Hey, you guys are all on fire tonight, man. I like it.
At 6 p.m., we'll get Reed OC.
Oh, great.
On. That is Wiggins' trainer. So get ready to ask him questions about Wiggins. So thanks, everybody. Yeah, let's end it here and let's do the
It's draft day already. Yep.
Justice. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to, I think all of you guys have, to NBA Up Close is the other channel that I have here. And where's Just Us?
Look, I'll cut the malarkey.
Oh, no, I don't know what I did with it. Whoops. It's gone. Unless it's that one. Well, I'll just do it then. I don't even know where Brate is. There's Brate. Oh, it must be over here. How do you scroll over here? Ah, there we go.
Hey.
Figured out Safari there.
One step at a time.
Just us, guys.
Rich could find that little moment in the video in his sleep, by the way.
See you tomorrow.
Just us. Yeah.
All right. See you tomorrow, Dean. Appreciate all your help.
Yes, sir, Rich. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, Rodney. All right. See you guys. See you, Bruce.